Hello and welcome to France. Now, just when we've been saying that the motor show is dead, up pops the Paris show with loads and loads of electric cars. So Renault Group alone is here with 5 stands, 7 world premieres and 2 concept cars. As for Citroen, got the new Ami, the new EC4, along with a concept car which is set to become the next C5, which would of course have an electric version. So we've been busy shooting loads of first look videos of a lot of the cars here over the last few weeks. Some, like the Renault 4, are right here already on the YouTube channel and over at electrifying.com. But of course, there were some things that we couldn't get our hands on before press day. So, comfy shoes on, let's go for a wander and see what we can find. Welcome to Electrifying. This is one of our favourites. We fell for the Citroen Ami the moment we clapped eyes on it and have been fans ever since. Look, it isn't a car for everyone, but it does that specific job that it was made for. Small, affordable runaround for those who do low mileage and local driving extremely well. So the Ami has had a makeover for its 4th birthday. It's inspired by the Citroen C5 and Lego, which is very good because we love Lego. It's got a new look front and rear. The lines are a bit sharper. The headlights have been raised. And I think they look even more like little eyes thanks to that black design around the outside. And as you can see, these 2 lights are now linked in this kind of moulded capsule here. And I think it does look really smiley at the front. It's adorable. Not much changes around the side. You do get new wheels though. Sadly, no upgrades to power or range. Would be nice if it had a little bit more of each. But even with that, I don't know if I want to hug it or drive it. Here at the bottom of Ami Tower is My Ami for All. So this is an adaptive version aimed at people with reduced mobility who've lost the use of one or both of their lower limbs. So it incorporates mechanical adaptations to make it easier to get into. And as you can see here on the back, there's an area to store the wheelchair along with a cover. I do think this is a really smart idea, and it has just been confirmed to me that this is set to come to the UK.
But the big news here on Citroen's stand is this, the C5 Aircross Concept, Citroen's next generation family SUV. And I think it looks great. I particularly love the light wing at the rear. Not to mention the fact that it will be good for up to 420 miles of range, like other models in the Stellantis lineup. And I see more than a hint of the Citroen Ollie in there too. It's going to be arriving midway through 2025. And the good news is that for a concept, it's 95% there. But hey, instead of me telling you about it, I'm going to get Citroen's head of design, Pierre Leclerc, to tell you instead.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
It looks great. And the first time I met you was in Paris with the Citroen Ollie.
Yeah.
When I was lucky enough to drive that. And looking at this, I can see quite a lot of the Citroen Ollie, and you promised me then that it was going to come through in designs.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
Yeah.
And you will see even more. But,
okay.
you know, of course, the new identity that we have shown for the first time on the C3,
yeah.
on the C3 Aircross with that logo, those new front architecture, is coming from Ollie
yeah.
and from Vision Motors we've done like 5 years ago. And then this one, on the C5 Aircross, you see that we have a new interpretation of
yeah.
that front face. Something that is then super coherent in between C3, C4, and C5 Aircross.
Okay.
Nevertheless, it's not a copy and paste.
Okay.
It's different.
Yeah.
But it's coherent in between the front and the rear, and that's really important.
So you're saying it's 95% there.
Yeah.
So often the good bits don't arrive on the real car. Are these lovely lights going to come to the real car?
That will be on the rear car.
Brilliant.
I'm so proud of that rear, because it's something that we have developed with what we call the UTEC here in France, so the homologation department. It's something that helps us in aerodynamics to have the bottom of the car extremely wide, okay. The upper extremely narrow, with the D pillar as well very round, and that brings the wind towards the rear okay. in the perfect way. Yeah. Now those wings, they put the headlights quite high, and they work perfectly then with our identity.
Okay. They look great. Yeah. And I just see from the line here and from the sort of slightly flat front of the car,
yeah.
There's definitely seems to me to be Ollie lines visually in that as well. Was this really part of your design process?
Yes, we wanted to have cars that were very frontal, vertical in the
yeah.
front face. We work a lot on the character of the car, and all, if you remember, was dead vertical. Of course, it's extreme, but here you can see a little bit of that. All the elements, all the light elements, for example, are perfectly vertical. It's a small thing, but that on top of the attitude of the front gives us a very strong attitude for the car overall.
So when your boss Thierry Costas unveiled the car this morning, he just said Citroen is back, It was a really positive statement. And one of the things that I personally really love is the new badge design. How important is something like a redesign of the badge of the car, the emblem, for just saying we're back and it's different?
Well, it's huge. Of course, it's not something that you can do every 5 years. It made sense in 2019 because we were celebrating 100 years anniversary, and we thought, this logo is super cool. It's so simple, and we're also a brand that likes to be simple in the approach. Why don't we try to bring it back, modernize it, because it's almost the same, but it's not the same, and put it on the car. Super complicated to integrate because we want it proud and pretty big on the front and on the back. In terms of pedestrian safety, etc., it's complicated, but it's very recognizable, and that, of course, made us rework the complete front and rear architecture.
Yeah, it really sets it off. It's like a piece of jewelry, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to driving it.
Yes,
okay.
me too.
So we haven't seen the interior yet, but Citroen tell us it's been designed as a wellness area, resembling a lounge, allowing 5 occupants to relax and travel in comfort. We'll get more details in 2025 before the car goes on sale in 2026.
Also here on Citroen's stand is a new version of the electric EC4, a car that we think is a little bit of an unsung hero in the family car class. If you want to see a full walk around video of this car, then Nicola has done one. It is very funny. You can watch it by clicking on this link here. And apparently the seats are very cushy on the tushy. It's so Nick. Goodness me, Renault Group has been working its design and engineering team hard, hasn't it? 7 world premieres, 2 concept cars, and I do love this, the R5 Roland Garros version. But over here is one of my favourite cars, the new Twingo E-Tech. At the moment, yes, it's a design study, but it's actually very, very close to what production car will be when it goes on sale in 2026. And there is a full walk-around video of this car on the YouTube channel, and you can watch it by clicking the little link just up there, so make sure you check that out. Now, of course, they're in the middle of a whole range of, comebacks, cars from the past they're reinventing. Renault 5 is, of course, the first one to come back. I've just driven that, and we've got a full first drive video of that right here on the YouTube channel. And their next car to make a comeback from Renault's past is, of course, the Renault 4. Like the Renault 5, it's going to be electric only. Renault says it's borrowed lots of styling cues from that groundbreaking predecessor, which was first produced in the 60s and became a real legend, certainly here in France. So I love a lot about this car. I really like the front. Just not quite sure about the rear of the car. It feels a bit fussy for me. It's going to share all its tech with the Renault 5. It will have the same batteries, pretty much the same driving range. But confusingly, it's actually larger. It sits higher and it's also wider. It's a proper family car. And that's in a bid to capture that ever popular crossover market. And I think once again, kind of wish it was more in line with the original, which was a brilliant, affordable small car. But no, it's increased in size and it's also increased in terms of price too. We expect it to start at around £29,000, putting it in line with cars like the EX30, EV3, Peugeot E2008. Once again, not going to tell you too much because we've got a full walk around video right here on the channel, so go and check that out. And there should be a little link just up there for that one too. As we have already established, there's a lot of back to the future going on with Renault. And this is one that we really, really love. So this is the 17 electric Resto mod. It's a modern twist on the classic 1970s Renault 17. It's been reimagined with the help of a cool French furniture designer, Ito, which I've probably pronounced completely wrong. Doesn't it look great? In true Resto mod style, they've combined all the charm and beauty of the original car with new materials, cutting-edge technology. Under the bonnet, the fuel-injected engine has been replaced by a rear-wheel drive electric motor. Inside, it's all about modern luxury. It's got boucle woolen, satin and cushioned seats. It's gorgeous. They've even managed to make the colour brown look really cool by renaming it Galactic Brown, and I want one so much. It's just such a shame that it will never see the light of day, because I love it.
Now this makes me very happy. Say hello to the new Twizy, although sadly it won't actually be called Twizy or indeed even have a Renault badge. But this is the replacement Twizy. Renault confirmed to us earlier this year that it will sell a replacement model in the UK under a new brand name, Mobilise, and that the all-electric two-seater will be called the Duo. There'll be 2 power outputs available, but only one will be offered in the UK, which gives a top speed of 50 miles per hour and has an official range of 87 miles, a useful increase from the Twizy's 56 miles, and rather more useful than the range on offer in the Citroen Ami. It will also be available as a single-seater cargo carrying version called the Bento. Like the Ami, it makes use of interchangeable parts. The front and rear bumpers are identical to lower production and repair costs, and the plastic grain on the bumpers and skirts is purpose engineered to reduce signs of wear as time goes by and make scratches apparently invisible. Along with being covered from the elements, you get more equipment than the OG model. In a first for a quadricycle, you get an airbag, along with a heated driver's seat and heated windscreen. Charging takes around 3 hours using a 3-pin plug, and the plan is to sell it through the Renault network in the UK. Whilst pricing is yet to be announced, we expect it's going to be somewhere in the region of £9,000.
Oh look, the new electric Capri. They've decided to keep it covered up, which is probably just as well. If you want to see my first look video of that car, there's a little link just up here. Now, when it comes to cars, the electric hydrogen debate is guaranteed to provoke furious arguments whenever it gets mentioned. But Renault has decided to settle this subject once and for all by combining the 2 forms of power in one in this, the Renault Onbile. So it's a concept car that uses an all-electric powertrain with a twist. It has a 40 kilowatt-hour battery for daily driving. For longer trips, it relies on a hydrogen fuel cell, which will no doubt make some people watching this video very, very cross. Now, I actually strongly suspect that this is going to become a production reality. Luca Di Meo, the big boss, stood on the stand earlier and he said, if it's on the stand, we are going to make it. If you look closely, it's not quite on the stand, it's on the carpet next to the stand. So who knows? But one thing's for sure, there are an awful lot of people who are not ready to rule hydrogen out.
This combined powertrain gives it a combined range of over 600 miles. And Renault claims it's designed to significantly reduce carbon emissions by as much as 90% over the car's entire life cycle, from production to its recycling. Renault's current Megane E-Tech generates around 24 tonnes of CO2 over its life cycle, and in comparison, the Onbile is expected to generate just 5 tonnes, thanks to the use of recycled materials, renewable energy and recycled parts.
There's always one member of the family that doesn't want to do things the same as everybody else, isn't there? Just wants to be a bit different. And in the Renault Group family at the Paris show, it is Alpine. So this is the rather crazy Alpine A390 beta show car. It's the second car in Alpine's transformation from a manufacturer of small, lightweight performance sports cars into one of all-electric performance cars. It's a follow-up to the hot hatch, the A290. And it's a second car in what Alpine calls its dream garage. We all love a dream garage. Right, as you might be able to tell, it's heavily inspired by Formula One and the mountains. There's loads of cool stuff on this car, it's really fun. And we've got a walk-around video coming soon to tell you all about it and have a closer look. But I would basically say, take a look at all the really cool stuff and then forget about it, because sadly I don't think it's going to make it onto the production car, and there will be a production version of this. Although I will be very disappointed if the little miniature skiers on the back seat don't make it onto the options list. But don't forget to subscribe to the channel and switch your notifications on so you know when the full walk-around video of this has landed.
Peugeot is another brand who've been busy. Between the new E3008 and the E5008 is yet another all-electric Peugeot, the E408. And its arrival now means that every model in its lineup is now fully electrified. The E408 is based on the same set of underpinnings as the E308, but has a longer wheelbase to fit in a larger 58 kilowatt-hour battery, which means it's set to offer a longer driving range of 280 miles on a full charge. Is that enough though? I'm not sure, particularly when you look at what rivals like the Tesla Model 3 can deliver. It will take up to 11 kilowatt AC charging and up to 120 kilowatt from DC chargers, and a heat pump will come standard across the range. It should feel pretty nippy, as Peugeot has fitted it with a powerful 215 brake horsepower motor.
It isn't just the French making waves here in Paris. Chinese car giant BYD is here with another aquatic-themed model. It is the Sealine 7, and like the Seal before it, this all-electric mid-size crossover, it's firmly aimed at taking on Tesla. But this time, as you can probably tell, it's gunning for the Tesla Model Y, along with the likes of the Kia EV6, the Peugeot E3008, and my beloved Skoda Enyaq Coupe. As it's bigger than the Seal, we expect the Sealine, which will share lots of its tech with that car, to be closer to the £50,000 mark. And in line with its other cars, you'll get a couple of trim models along with the options of a single motor or dual motor or wheel drive powertrains. So it's not the first time we've seen this. It's already on sale in China, but we will be driving it really soon. Nicola's going to be heading off for a first drive on it. Do make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel and switch your notifications on so you know when we get our first drive. It's quite unusual to see Tesla at a motor show, but then this Tesla Model Y has got something a bit special about it. Take a look at this. Ta-da! 2 extra seats, a third row. Great news for family drivers, and it's coming to the UK in just a couple of weeks' time. It's going to cost £2,500 extra, which doesn't seem that value for me. So you get these 2 forward-facing seats, and they fold completely flat if you need more boot space. That's going to keep Nikki Shields happy with her 3 children, isn't it?
Once seated, the third row of passengers have headroom under the rear glass and can charge their mobile devices with 2 USB-C outlets. Even with the 7 seats in place, there is 363 litres of space behind the third row, about the same size as a VW ID3's boot. And when you've got that third row folded flat, there's a massive 753 litres available. That's bigger than many huge SUVs. The 7-seater option has a range of between 351 and 373, depending on your wheel choice. Prices starting at £54,490.
Now, if I told you that there was an electric car here at the Paris show, designed by Nissan GTR designer Shiro Nakamura, you'd probably get quite excited, and you'd be right too. Look at it, it's here. It's gorgeous. Sadly, it's probably not going to be made because the LSR 05, as it's called, is the result of a rather unusual collaboration between automotive parts supplier TKH and the renowned Japanese car designer. It was first shown in Japan last year, but it's here in Paris today. The LSR bit stands for Luxury, Sport and Revolution, and it marks THK's 50th anniversary. As you can see, it's a crossover coupe, about the size of a Tesla Model S, slightly shorter. You get video cameras instead of traditional side mirrors. And take a look at this. It's got rear hinge doors for the passengers. Of course, you've got this giant screen there across the front. But the best bit is what they're calling the stealth slide seats. So this configuration of the passenger seat, front and back, slides forward to recline very elegantly. Honestly, I think this is gorgeous. It's just such a shame it's not going to see the light of day.
Powering the car are 2 rear-mounted 800-volt 93 kilowatt-hour motors with variable magnetic flux, along with a 220 kilowatt motor at the front. Additional features include 4-wheel steering, adjustable suspension, and an advanced electric braking system that independently controls each wheel. The Concept also comes with a wireless charging pad system that allows it to be recharged when you're parked in the vicinity of a charging pad. Stuff of the future? Who knows? The Renault Estet Concept is a modern electric version of the classic van from the 60s. And while it borrows the name of a classic Renault, there's nothing particularly retro about it, as you can see. Its footprint is similar to that of the Kangoo, but it's considerably taller. And this high roof allows the driver to move between the front and back of the van easily. The design blends vintage touches from the original, like its boxy shape, with modern features like sleek LED lights. Inside it's very spacious. The sliding side doors make it easy to get into, and a rear roller door also makes loading easier. It's really been designed with urban and last mile delivery in mind, and Renault claims we can expect a production version within 2 years.
And incidentally, we're launching an electric van channel over at electrifying.com. It's going to have reviews of all the latest electric vans, like this one, including loads of handy guides and explainers. So do keep an eye out for that because it's coming soon. Just checking my steps. 18,500. You do a lot of walking at motor shows, and I've seen a lot of really brilliant cars here today. It's actually been quite exciting to be at a motor show again with so much going on. But as always, there has to be my star of the show. And it's going to go to this, the Citroen C5 Aircross. It's a concept, but it's not really. And I'm giving it to this car. I mean, it looks great, but mainly for this. This rear is absolutely brilliant. And I think these lights are one of the coolest things I've seen. This is the production car that I can't wait to see. So, that's the roundup from Paris complete. Thanks for joining us. And as always, if you aren't already, please do subscribe to the channel and switch your notifications on so you know when first drives of brilliant cars like this arrive on the channel.